I hope you've all got your eyes glued to the screen and you're sitting watching charts and they're driving you insane. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, fellow traders, welcome to the live show again. Good to have you back. Good to have you on board. Don't forget the risk. Always put this at the beginning because you need to know that most traders lose money. And if you don't like losing money and you don't like risk, probably shouldn't be trading. But it's best you know that. Otherwise, you'll be surprised by it. And you don't want to be surprised by the possibility of taking losses. The insanity of trading Forex. That's my last video that I put out, if you remember. Got to be crazy to be a trader. Sir Lunchalot, good morning. Welcome. Good to see you again. Still love that name. Good to see you here. You're the first on board today, man. Yeah, that's fantastic. Great stuff. Lovely. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about investing as well, because Elaine did ask that. And it's important that we all understand a little bit about investing and what it's all about and why I do it. And then somebody asked me about, Can I Trader asked about, can I go through, like when I have a list of charts that I'm looking at, blank charts, and how I mark them up and that sort of thing. That's going to be a little bit difficult on the live show, because what I do there is generally on a Sunday or a Saturday on the weekend, I'll go through the charts and I'll mark them up, or if I need to mark them up, I really don't usually, and I just go through them and I see what's up and what's down. So yeah, I can do that, but I'll have to probably in all likelihood make a special video for that, which goes through that process. The process of kind of starting my day or my week, my weekly setup. Because what I generally do is how's it, Kevin? What I generally do is on the weekend, I'll look at the week and where I think the week is gonna go, and then I'll base my daily trades, my 4-hourly trades, against that sort of sentiment. So when I say I don't look at fundamentals, I kind of do on the side. I kind of keep one eye on it. I must say I was actually very surprised with the reaction of the indexes on Monday, with the result going up so fast, because I don't think that the problems in the Middle East have ended as such. They're getting better, but I don't see how they've gone away. And the geopolitics were there. So effectively from my side, how's it, Bruman? I traded out of everything on Friday. Even my cash accounts. I've got all my investments. Just keep that in mind. And that's why I'm going to talk a little bit about the investing side of the business. The trading side of the business. So in other words, all my leverage trades I took out, I closed. Whereas my invested, well, you can call them trades, investments, those I leave in because they're set and forget. In other words, I leave them there forever. There will be times of crash, there will be times of good. And it doesn't really matter to me. Those just stay there. Because when you try to call trading and on investments, and I'll speak to you about this during the show, is the problem with trying to call investments is then you're trading and you get it wrong. So you've got this amazing investment like Nvidia, for example, and I always like to go back to that because it's done so well. And you on Friday you say, well, the world's ending, so you dump the investment. You come back on Monday morning and it's shot up to the sky. Now are you ever going to get back into it? Because now you're like, oh, I've got to get back into this. I've lost so much. So that's why with investments, I just leave them in. It's one-to-one money. I know how much is in there. And I know that it's always, in the long run, going to go up over time. And I'm not taking it out tomorrow anyway, so it doesn't really matter. That's the crux of investments, whereas trading is different. Trading, when you're trading, you in and out, and leverage trading is dangerous, because if you leave the trades in on a cash account, you could come back on Monday morning to quite a big problem. Now, a lot of you might ask, but why didn't you just leave a short, say, on the US 500 instead of a long? You say you don't want to take long trades over the weekend in case of disaster, but what about leaving a short trade in? Well, it's not always good to leave a short trading, because this week was a very good example of that, where you come back on Monday morning and the news is great. Now, it's very seldom that that's going to happen, or you come back on Monday morning and the news is so good that it's going to have shot up like this, but it did. And it actually, I think, sideswiped a lot of traders. A lot of traders were taken back by this, especially if you see that long red candle. Now, normally I say a supply of money is followed by 3 candles. In this case, 2 candles, because the candle was so long. And if you took this down to lower time frames, you'd see more candles. So there is a big supply of money up here that it's come back to take. And now it's starting to come back down again. You see, I think there's a lot of uncertainty here now. I think the emotions cause people to jump back into the market again. And then they're like, oh, wait a minute, what am I doing? Maybe I'm pushing my luck here a little bit. There is still problems there. That said, most of this market is moved by the general asset value of the country that it's based on, and the shares that it's based on, and the movement of those shares in the index. So that said, you can't just base it on geopolitics. You can't just base it on information around the country. It's based on asset value. The trouble with that is why geopolitics plays such a big part in it is because people panic. And that panic can cause a big sell-off, and it causes big sell-off in companies. It can literally bankrupt companies if all that investment gets pulled out too fast. So that's where the issues come in with fundamentals and the issues around news and that type of thing. Just thought I'd bring that up. It's interesting because I would have thought over the weekend, I'm feeling really great now because I'm not long. And you come back on Monday morning and it's all gone long again. It is questionable. You look at it and think, well, how did that happen? But it happened. And yeah, that's how the world moves. But it's best. As I would have said in my members video this morning, how's it, Kevin? How's it, Shane? As I would have said in my members video this morning, it's really important to let the dust settle as well. We're quick to jump back in. I see this, particularly like here on the US 500. This is a good example of that. We had this big scare on the weekend. Geopolitics, the world's about to end. Let me have some coffee. You see that. You sell out of all your stuff, and you come back on Monday morning, and here's a whole bunch of traders that have gone plowing straight back into the market. And I equate that to walking into a dust storm. Would you just walk into a dust storm and you can't see what's going on around you? Why would you do that? Let the dust settle and have a look at the landscape and see what's going on. Let things settle down. Let things open up, and then you get a better feeling as to what's coming next. Because if you just follow the crowd jumping off the edge of the cliff and you just follow them in, you're going to fall off the edge, because if anything really changes quite suddenly, then you're going to be in that pile or that mess. I just wonder why people won't be patient and let the dust just settle before you jump straight back in and start getting all excited. Everything's turned around. It's FOMO, actually. FOMO's got a big part to play in it. Fear of missing out. The fear of missing out is a big one. I don't want to miss out on this move. Everybody's going to get in there. The US 500, S&P 500 is going to go to 6,600, and I'm going to miss it. If you miss a trade, so be it. So be it. Because if it went pear-shaped, then you would be saying, ooh, I dodged a bullet. Think about that as well. Don't preempt, don't FOMO, just trade what you see, just look at what's going on and let the dust settle. There's nothing wrong with letting the dust settle. It really helps you when you're becoming profitable. Morning, Elaine. I am going to go over investing a little bit today. So if you are going to be on the show, stick around. I'm going to go over it, particularly because you did ask about it. And it's important. It is an important subject. And I think I have made a video about it previously. I have done that. It wasn't that popular. I mean, maybe people aren't really interested in slow, long-term investing, but I will make another one. Maybe people will be more interested in it this time. It's an important part of your business. I know you all want to just be traders and you just want to trade and you just want to stare at the charts all day. But try to understand that if you start now, okay, I don't know how old you guys are. Okay, some of you are my age, maybe older. But you guys that have maybe got some time left, try and start investing, because in the long run, you're going to thank yourself for doing it. And all I say is, you might say, I don't have enough money to invest. Well, everybody's got an income of some sort. No, not everyone, but most of you must probably have some form of income from somewhere. Take some of it and every month put it into an account, into a share account or an investment account of shares, one-to-one, where even if you buy one share in a company and you just keep adding to it every month, try and end up with, I don't mean one company. I mean, you can buy 5 companies and you buy one share in each company if you need to. If you buy, for example, in South Africa, we've got a company called Easy Equities, which I use because they trade all over the world. And also they allow you and help you to buy partial shares. So you don't have to buy everything if you don't want to. Because in some companies like Berkshire Hathaway, for example, a share will cost you $30,000 and you might not have that. So look at that. I'm going to go over it a little bit in the show so you guys get an idea of why we do it and what it can do for you over time. What it can do for you. It's important. It's not about trading. It's about choosing your companies. And unfortunately, with investing, what I find is most, shall I call them traders or investors, but most people who want to invest in a share will do exactly what I'm going to show you. They're going to go to the finance, maybe Yahoo Finance. You're going to see what the price to earnings ratio is. You're going to have a look at an earnings statement, whatnot, and you're going to base your investment on that. Whether you're right or wrong, you're going to base your investment on that. But what do you know about the company? What do you actually know? What do you know what's going to happen? Do you know what's going to happen tomorrow? Probably not. All you can see is what it's valued at, what the results are, and where it might go. So I base a lot of my investments on reality, on what I see. So for example, let's say in South Africa, if I want to invest in a retail store, and I keep walking into Spar, for example, and I see them growing. I see them improving the store. I see them getting busier. I see things happening around that just look so business-like and look like this business is going somewhere. They're spending money at the moment, but they're going somewhere. And that's what I look for. So it doesn't matter what, because now if I look at the financial statements, they're not going to show me that. They're going to show me that they're spending money. They're not going to give me that insight as to this company is going somewhere, it's going to grow. And I mean, even if you're not in the country, for example, Amazon, good example. I'm not in the country with Amazon, but I can see what they're doing. I can see how they're growing. I can see what they're up to. So it makes sense. You don't pick small penny shares and things like that because you don't know what's going to happen with those companies. You pick decent companies. There's so many of them out there. Why do I own NVIDIA? Because I could see the future is AI. The future's in that company, and the CEO himself stood up and said, this is what we're doing. So it all makes sense to me. Why did I invest in Coca-Cola? Because everyone drinks Coca-Cola, whether it be in Coca-Cola form or Fanta grape or whatever, or Sprite, everyone drinks Coca-Cola. Why am I invested in the breweries? I'm not even going to answer that question. Just logic. Just think about it. Just look at it and say, look at that. I can see where that's going. But we'll go into it. I haven't into my assets for 8. That's a lunch lot. The war would bring oil up. Liam, also nat gas since yesterday. Let's see how it all played out. So lunch a lot. Oil, actually, I was long. It played out. I wasn't looking when that all took place. I think it was Thursday night, and it took my profit target. I would have moved my profit target up had I been awake. But it's okay. I got a full-on profit, which is great. I haven't got back into oil just yet as a result of it's a little bit iffy at the moment. And what I'm seeing on the geopolitics is they're also a little bit iffy at the moment, which is why I said I was actually quite surprised to see everyone jump in so fast here on the adrenaline rush. This morning I did call for the DAX to go long. It is in a long spot, but it needs to get a green bar out of here before we can go long. At the moment, it's busy spiking down and giving us a little bit of a headache, so we haven't bought it yet. I'll just see the excitement of people jumping up, rushing in, and it's trade what you see and let the dust settle, because the dust is still blowing around at the moment as far as I can see. Elena, we'll make another one. I'll make a much better video on investing so that you can see it. And I'm also going to talk about it a little bit here today because I think it's important. Hi, Kevin. Yes, it's been a while now. Have you been enjoying the weather? Yes, Kevin, it has been a while. I mean, truly has been a while. It would be good to see you on every show again. Yeah. Kevin, it's best to actually let the dust settle at the moment. You're quite right. As long as the weather is good here in Scotland, I'll be outside and it doesn't last that long, even something. Kevin, you only get 1 day of summer a year in Scotland. Plenty of time I want to sit and watch the charts, and then by some wars will have calmed down. Kevin, maybe the wars won't be calmed down by winter. Maybe they'll just get a wee bit worse. So just been challenging, but if we're going to get through it, then it should be seasoned traders. You see, like, it also depends. This is when, it might be beneficial to the short-term traders. The 5-minute traders might do okay in a market like this where nobody's quite sure and where the market's moving around, because you're just trading on the very, very short term. But when you're trading on slightly longer term, then it becomes a little bit more complicated to follow the pattern, because the pattern starts to jump around a bit. But seasoned traders, even after 33 years of playing with the markets, right, you still get it wrong. It's you see all the patterns, you see all the things. I mean, a prime example of that is, with all my experience, I looked at last week as, here comes trouble. Here comes big trouble. Monday morning, there's going to be tears everywhere. And I wake up on Monday morning and the guys are jumping back into the market. And I'm thinking, wow. So all that experience out the window, there you go, new lesson. This doesn't happen often, guys, really. So you see things in the market that you've seen before, and you tend to, base your knowledge on that. And then the market has this ineptability of driving you insane. So, yeah, that's how it goes. Hey, Paul. Hey, Bruman. Right, okay. It's good to have you, Paul. And hopefully the weather in Ireland is great. It's actually winter here in Cape Town. We've got a bit of winter that's come in, and this is the time when the sea comes up over the roads and that sort of thing, and we get a lot of rain. In the north of the country, where I have stayed a lot in my life, it's swapped around. We actually get tropical rain. We get rain in summer, and we don't get any rain in winter. But down here in the Cape, we get the normal rain in winter and the sea coming over and all that sort of thing. So but we get so many seasons in a day or a week. Yeah, it's insane. But yeah, very much. It actually warmed up on the weekend, and now it's pretty cool again. But for us, cold is the minimum we get to here in Cape Town is like 4 degrees Celsius. So for you guys, you're like, oh, that's summer. Yeah, no, we have lovely temperatures here. You had your 3 days of summer, yeah. Scotland gets its 1 day of summer. That's what Kevin's into. He gets his 1 day of summer there. Yeah, no, totally. Okay, so investing. I wanted to talk to you guys about investing. I'm going way off the subject here. And Can I Trader, I don't know if he's here, but I will try my level best to put a video together for you with regards to how we mark up the charts and look at all the charts and go through picking which way we think a trade's going to go and that sort of thing. It takes a long time to do that. Well, not a long time, but you're going through a lot of different charts. So I don't want to make a video too long and drawn out, too boring, but I'll see what I can do, and I'll try and put it together for you. As I say, what I normally do is I try and look at the charts on a weekend, get a picture as to where things are going for the following week. And if there's lines drawn on it from the previous week, maybe move them around a bit. And then during the week, I'll just keep an eye on what I think is the most important for me on that particular week. And this week it's these, okay? So, and that's what we're looking at. I don't think you'll all fit in my house. Quite a number of you will, but yeah, I know it's a decent sized spot with a good pub, but yeah, I can't imagine that'll be a big party. Oh, goodness me. And when I was younger, I used to do a lot of parties, but not anymore. I actually sit back and don't do much. Logical towers. Guess you could call it that, logical towers. Sounds good. Yeah, I like my space, though. I do enjoy my space. Okay, so let's have a look at investing. Yeah, wait, before I do that, I must actually move it over to there. Otherwise, you guys won't see what's going on, which really wouldn't help matters at all. Okay, so put it over there, and let's go and see if we can put it on. There it is. Okay, the news. I want to go over to that, and then I want to go over to the investment calculator and show you the investment goodie. I think we will still have a live giveaway on Thursday for the 2-step 10K challenge. So that's provided by Fundra FX, the funding you need to succeed. So we'll give that away on Thursday. You can actually get instant accounts. I've left links for that, but I don't know about the USA because I believe you guys have a problem with CFD. So I don't know. We'll see how long we carry on with that. But I think I will play another one on Thursday for you guys to have a bit of fun. So why have I got this up here? Hopefully you guys can see it. Yep, you can. That's fantastic. I've got this up here. Elaine particularly asked me about investment, and I am going to do a little bit of a video of how you get into it technically on the charts. But try to separate charts from investment, because like I said to you, the way I look at investment is completely different to most people. What most of you will do is you'll go onto this finance thing here, and you'll pick a share, and you'll say, let's go and have a look at this share. And I don't know why it's taking so long to go over there, but hopefully it will go over there one day. There we go. So, okay, I just picked any share. This is Woolworths, right? So most of you will go in here and you'll have a look at the previous close bids, ask, days range, average volume, PE ratio, which is important. Anything below 15 is fantastic. These days, I'd say anything below 20 is pretty good. That's the price to earnings ratio, the forward earnings of a company. The dividends, the amount of dividends, and all that sort of stuff you're going to have a look at. Some of you might even take the time to go into the financials and go through the financials of a company and see what it's worth. You also get on Yahoo and a lot of these things, you get analysis that tells you what the analysts think. Is it a buy? Is it a hold? Is it an underperform? Is it a sell? You know, it's all good information. There's news. So you can get a lot of information for free off of something like Yahoo, which will tell you an insane amount of information about the share. But does that actually give you enough? You know, I see a lot of investors live on this scenario of, I'm looking at these figures and that's what's going to make me buy the share. My problem with that is one, and that is you don't really know the ins and outs of the company. All you're seeing is the figures. Does the name of the CEO matter to you? If you know him well, maybe. You know, it's a really difficult thing to choose. So what I do, like I said, is I look around me and I see what's going on, and I see what's happening in the world, and I see what's happening around me. I see what's happening with the individual businesses. And that tells me whether it's going to be a winner or a loser in the future, where I think it's going to go well or go bad. I never dabble in penny shares and new companies investing, coming up and things like that. I invest in companies that have got a track record like Coca-Cola. Why do I own Coca-Cola? Like I said, because it doesn't matter. Everyone drinks some kind or form of Coca-Cola. Why do I own McDonald's? Because I could see the growth. I could see that this is going to be an insane company. Why wouldn't I own KFC, for example? For me, it's going down. Why wouldn't I own Pick n Pay in South Africa? Because it's looking rather bad. I don't buy bad shares. Why would I own Spar? Because I look around me and it looks like it's doing something good. That's how I buy. I do look at these figures, but I look at the company for what it is. Why do I own Amazon? Because I looked at the company and it looks like it's doing something. Why do I own Nvidia? The future's AI. It looked good. You know, there's a number of companies that I buy because I can see what's going on. Anheuser-Busch, it's alcohol, but you know, you can't go wrong. Now, why do I invest? Super Earthman is Sir Lancelot. You've got competition with your name. Super Earthman's here. That's a fantastic name. I love it to bits. My name is so boring. Rob's Logical Trading. Super Earthman. I can't beat that. That's brilliant. Rob Buffett. Beer and Buffett. Okay, yeah, Sir Lancelot. I have actually, what I've bought is the S&P index on an exchange traded fund. But it's not a preference to buy indexes in my investments. Well, the simple reason is I prefer to have a spread of companies, and you get that with the index, but the spread of companies will normally outperform the index. Also, when it comes to dividends, you get the better dividends and that sort of thing. Yeah, you do get dividends with exchange traded funds, but it's better to actually deal with the companies. But I do have investments in the S&P 500, just so as you know. Okay, so if the S&P 500 crashes to zero, I'm doomed. Okay, there you go. Now you know. But yeah, now I have investments here, offshore. We call it offshore, might be onshore by you. So let's say you have $20,000 and you put it into shares. And you looking at a 20-year investment, because nobody looks at a 10-year investment. 20 years, you put it away. You're 40 years old, by the time you're 60, this is what you'll have, okay? The return rate is not 6%. The return rate on share investment, on average, giving you 25%, because that's how it is. Do you know if you put it into an investment company, investment portfolio where they handle it for you, they'll offer you up to 15% on average. And that's way below the market, way below. 25% is below. You're going to make more. In general, I've seen years 40% and up. So 25% being conservative. Now, how much can you afford additionally every month? Can you afford $1,000? Maybe not. Maybe you can afford $500 per month to add to your shares every month. So every month you take $500 out of your income and you put it in there. If you can't afford that, we'll change the figure. That's fine. But I'm just using that as an example. That could be any currency, by the way. I'm just using dollars as a currency. It could be rands, it could be rupees, it could be, I don't know, Australian dollars, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just a number. Okay, it's going to calculate for you. So now you've invested an initial $20,000. You've said, I'm going to take 20 years to get this money. The return rate is 25%. It's annual. And you're putting an additional contribution of $500 a month, each month. How much am I going to have at the end of that period? Now that's the interesting one. How much am I going to have at the end of that period? So if you started with $20,000 and you put $500 a month away, like calling it dollars, over 20 years, at the end of the period, you'd have 4 million. Okay. Not bad, not great, but not bad, because inflation is going to affect you and so on and so on. But bear in mind that you've only contributed 120,000. Keep that in mind. You've only contributed 120,000, so you've actually profited $3.9 million. But now I'm going to show you something that's going to really freak you out. At the end of 20 years, you're going to be like, maybe I should take that out. Well, if you don't have to, don't, because let me show you what happens at 30 years. Because this is the interesting bit. 30 years. Wow. Do you see that? It was at 4 million at 20 years. At 30 years, it's at 37 million, 38 million, 37,648,283. I don't want to sound like Jacob Zuma here, who can't say figures. That's how much money you'll have in the end, just for interest's sake. Excuse the pun, interest. Really interest. I've got someone who's really desperately trying to phone me here. Okay, so, for example, it's just property that's shown. EFT is usually a stock or fund that has the top 100 stock in given area of interest. Goes to zero. We have other problems. Yeah, totally. Usually cheaper and easier. Okay, so that's just for information, guys. That's what's going to happen if you have investments. Now, what I do with investments on my side is I don't sell them. Like on Friday when things were looking a bit iffy, I don't sell them out. Oh, by the way, if you guys want this, it's calculator.net. It's online. Totally free calculator. Go and sit and play with it if you want to. But there it is, calculator.net. Yeah, quite easy. Go and go mad. Go and find out what you want to do with it. But that's how much money you'll make. And I call it set and forget. I buy shares, I leave them. The most difficult part of this is every month when I need to add an amount, is what to add it in, what to add it to. Because if the shares that you own have all done really well, do you add something new to the portfolio or do you add to something existing? Generally, I always find some existing one that I can add to, but it's much of a muchness. Now, the best way to trade these. I'm going to go back to the charts here so that you guys can get a good idea of what to do. Let's just go back to the charts. And let me actually show you on, maybe on these charts, because we can do that here. I don't want to mess any of these charts up, but let's just use that one. And actually, no, I can actually, yeah, we can use this one. It's fine. What I normally do with investments is, firstly, it's not on a 4-hour, it's on a day chart or a weekly chart. And the way I look at it from a technical point of view is, if I want to look at it from a technical point of view, because like I said to you guys, if I'm looking to invest, I've kind of looked at the company and I've kind of decided for myself where I want to go and what I want to do with it. So, how's it, Philip? What I want to do is put 2 moving averages on. That's all I want to do. Hopefully I can find indicator. Simple moving average. So let's put on add to chart. Where is it? Did it actually give me that? I asked it to add the indicator. Oh, it's giving me circles. Lovely. I just love that circle. Right, there we go. This is a 50-day moving average. Then I add a 200-day. How can I make it a different color? Boom, 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 boom. There we go. I need a different color. Let's make it, let you make it any color you want. Let's make it, no, red's a bad color because that's going to clash. I'll just make it yellow. That's fine. Cool. Right. Add to chart. So what do those 2 lines tell me? If I'm investing, what those 2 lines tell me, there's my 50-day, there's my 200-day moving average. This is what's known as a death cross. This is what's known as a golden cross. When you have a death cross, the share is bearish. When you have a golden cross, the share is bullish. So if this was a share, it's not. It's the New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Don't worry about it. But if this was a share, and I was going to invest in this share, I would buy this, and that's it. Do I react when there's a death cross? 9 times out of 10, not, unless I'm really concerned about the company. Generally, I'll buy when I see a golden cross. I'll just simply buy it. And that's me, I'm in. That's all I look for. I don't look for price action. I don't look for anything at all. All I look for is that. I might draw a trend line in, see which way it's going, something like that. You can add an RSI in if you want and wait for it to be oversold before you buy in. I never short on trading, obviously. I mean, investing, obviously, because I'm investing. So all I do is I wait for that. If I get that point, then I'm buying, and then it's good. The other thing you can do with investment, if you're extremely confident in the company, is you can take the moving averages out, which is fine. And then you can just put an RSI in. So let me see if it'll, relative strength index. There we go. That's, by the way, what it is. It's a relative strength index. Put a relative strength index in. And then say to yourself, if the relative strength index gets to these oversold positions down here, then I'll invest in that company and I'll buy in, and that's me. I'm in. I'm into that company, and then off I go. That's how I invest, technically. But as I said to you, my investments are not technical. They are knowledge-based. I look at what's going on around me. That's something you have to acquire. I don't know if everybody's got it, where you can literally feel and see that a business looks like it's going to improve and do well. Okay, so I hope that helps you guys with the investment side. I hope it gives you some insight. Investing this is the thing, and that's why, Elaine, I want to make another video for you. It wasn't that popular when I did it last time. It's because investing is the most boring thing on earth. And you can see why. You invest, you put the money in, and then you forget about it. You know how difficult it is, particularly for someone who's starting out, someone who hasn't really been in trading, someone who likes to trade the 5-minute charts, to invest and then not look at the charts every day for a month. I literally look at my investments once a month. Worst case scenario, twice. I just want to check what's happening for what maybe got nothing to do. But even when I check them, I'm like, why am I even looking? Because what am I going to do? I'm not selling anything. The only time I want to look at my investments is when I want to add something to them, when I want to add at the end of the month. So the end of the month coming around, it's time to add to the investments. Then I go and have a look at, maybe a couple of days before I invest, what am I going to invest in? Which one looks like it needs some more money? And if there's nothing, the other option, what I sometimes do is just split it between, say, 3 or 4 or 5 shares. Just split it and add it in. Just dollar cost averaging up. And guys, thanks for hitting the like button. That does kind of help. I see there's not that many of us here today as there was last week. There was many more last week. This is quite a subject because, as I've said before, trading is boring, investing is boring. This is not an exciting game. And if you can sit and look at a computer screen all day and look at charts, normally the reason you're doing that is because you're concerned about taking a loss. You don't want to lose any money. So what you tend to do, sorry, I'm just looking at another screen. What you tend to do is watch the chart all day just in case. And particularly if you go into a loss, that's when you start really staring at the screens like, ooh, where's this going? You start willing it the other way. You start wishing it would go the other way. That. Been there, done that. It doesn't work. Just walk away. It doesn't work. It affects your psychology is all it does. It drives you nuts. Like, for example, let's say you took the long on this Germany 30 before waiting and you were impatient, so you got in early. I'm taking the long, and then it starts going short like this, making that big red candle. So now, this is a 4-hour. If it's on a 5-minute, you'll see it even worse. And you sit looking at it like wishing it would turn around. It's not going to turn around because you're wishing. You can only trade what you see. This is breaking down, but if it breaks to the upside, gives us a green candle out, then I'll buy. And patience, waiting for the dust to settle is a big one. If this breaks to the downside, and I did say it earlier, if this breaks to the downside and breaks through this, what is now a support, we're looking at a heavy short all the way down to these 220 levels. So we have to see what's going to happen, and it could be an effect of this. You see how the US 500 is dropping off. Why is it dropping off? Is there something happening in the background? I don't have the radio on. I'm not listening to the news. I don't know if the war's going pear-shaped. Could be. All I can see is the charts. So, but to sit and look at them all day. One of you guys mentioned, I think it might have been Elaine, that you prefer to sit and watch your stop loss. You prefer not to put your stop loss in place because you watched my video where I told you that you're advertising your position or your order if you put your stop loss in in place here, or if you put your take profit in, you've basically advertised your area of exit to all the guys who are looking for a buy, sell, whatever the case. Because if you, particularly with shares, if you open them up, you can see the volume of the liquidity that's available to buy and sell, and at what price. Those are the orders that are lying in the market for you to go and get, because that's what everyone's looking for, is that liquidity. The reason we trade support and resistance is the people haven't left their orders there, but when the price gets there, those people will jump in, and people that haven't got automated trades will jump in at that level and start trading as well. Thing is, if you've left your order in place, people can see it, but it's got advantages and disadvantages. So people can see it, but do people really want to sell it at that price, or do people really want to buy it at that price? You see, if you put your order in the right place, it doesn't matter. If I put my stop loss in a place where nobody really wants it, then it doesn't matter. It's very much it's a 50-50 again. It's like, do people really want to trade out? So for example, if you're in this Germany 30, and I put my stop loss all the way down here at 23,000, does anybody really want it? Does anybody want to take that? Maybe when they're going short. Yeah, maybe. So, if you put your stop loss far enough away, there's nothing wrong with that. You would probably get out there anyway if you were watching the trade. So put it in an area where if I was watching the trade, I would sell it to you anyway at that price. It really doesn't matter if they can see your order or not, because you would sell it there anyway. It's not like they're coming to grab it and then going back up because you're too far away. So if you're too far away, they're not going to come and take it down there. They're not going to come and search it out. It's too far away. And they're not looking for your order. They're looking for money in general as much as they can get, but maybe they don't want to lose that much, or pay for it that low, or whatever the case. Yamal, young millionaire. I hope you are a young millionaire. Master Gold and ES price action risk time organized. You see I see a lot of you guys do get caught up in trading one instrument. I get it. I get why you're thinking along those lines. How do I explain this? You see, the problem is this. You only trade the US 500. You only trade this. The only way that you're going to get trades out of this by only trading this and gold is by trading on a 1 minute or a 5 minute chart, where 99% of people lose anyway. Because you somehow think that you've mastered this chart, that you've mastered this instrument, and you know how it flows and you know how to trade it. Believe me, it's going to surprise you somewhere down the line. It always does. Thing is, guys, this is a system, this is a squiggly line, this is a chart. How this works, no matter what time frame you're on, how you trade, where you trade, this is a bunch of lines with a bunch of information in it. That information is what are human beings doing on a regular basis with their buying and selling. That's what the chart is like a book. What it's doing, it's telling you that the traders are, every time this happens, the traders will come in and buy, and every time this happens, the traders will come in and sell. Now you've learnt that pattern because humans are creatures of habit. So that now starts to give you high probability trades, and you start to work with those high probability trades so that you can have an edge in the market, makes you feel comfortable, you can manage your risk. Trouble is that whether you use a system or whether you use nothing, you have the same odds, and that is it's a 50-50. It's going to go up or it's going to go down. It's just a line. You're just basing it on the probability of what happened last time. That's not what makes you the money. What makes you the money is the business plan and the strategy. The business plan and the strategy, it won't matter whether you trade on one instrument or 1 million instruments. It's going to be the same every single time, the strategy. That's where the money's made. All this is probability. And if you're only trading on one instrument, you're going to start forcing trades when you can't find trades, when there's no trades available. So the only way to trade on one or two instruments is on 5-minute, 1-minute charts and that sort of thing, because then you can basically try and follow the pattern of how they've been trading over the last week or whatever the case. But yeah, but then you're basing everything on a technical chart. You're basing everything on the lines, and you're going to end up, how can I put this nicely, sitting on your butt. Yeah, it's going to come back and kick you. It always does. Okay. Bom, 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 ba, 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 ba. Seems like there's an oak here who's thanks, Kevin. So, Yamil, do me a favor and yeah, go and suck it. Thanks, Paul. Yeah. So, Yamil, do you have a name or are you hiding behind your keyboard? I tell you what, come here and say all those things to my face, not on the internet. Come and stand in front of me and say all those things. Because where I come from, we call it a klap. And that's what you're going to get. A lekker klap. That's it. End of story. So don't hide behind your keyboard and talk rubbish. Yes, I tell you, unbelievable. But for those of you who know me, where I'm from, you'll understand what I just said. Yeah, come say it to my face. Come stand here. Come stand here in front of me so I can give you one clap. Sort you out, you scammer. These scammers, really shouldn't be around. So, bye-bye, Yamal. We're not going to see you again. You're a DH, and we're getting rid of you. So, goodbye. Don't worry, I've banned him. He's gone. Yeah, he's banned, he's gone. I don't need rubbish like that on my channel. He's scum. Don't need that. I tell you, there are people like that. It's weird, Very weird. But what can you do about it? You can't do much for them. He's probably had some kind of bad experience, and that bad experience has affected him in some way, and he needs to take it out on everyone else. I don't know. I get annoyed with these people that sit behind their keyboards and they try to insult you. And like I said, come and say it to my face, man. Come and stand here. Let's talk about it. Let's see how brave you are standing in front of me. Give me some excitement in my life. Yeah, no, he's definitely not a millionaire. Most certainly not. He's probably a scammer or someone that's lost all his money or someone that got into trading and lost. And as I've told you guys, trading's risky and it happens. And then the guy's upset with everyone who's trying to help everyone else. It gets like that. You get people like this that really, they shouldn't be out there. A sad world we live in. Don't worry. It doesn't affect me that bad that I'll go away and I won't help you, Oaks. I'll always be around. I'm having fun. And people like that are a laugh and a half. I mean, they're just such fools. It's unbelievable. I just wonder what they get out of it. Why they like attacking people, or just go and do your thing and whatever. Thanks. Super Earthman, thanks. There's two guys on this that I love to bits, and Sir Lunchalot, Super Earthman, you got the best names on the internet. That's, for me, is amazing. It's fantastic. I love it to bits. Yeah, don't worry, I'm not in a bad mood. I'm just commenting on the Wally. But, YouTube is really good. They give you the ability to ban people and to, take users off the channel and that sort of thing that are problematic, because they know that these people exist. And it actually helps, because at the end of the day, let's be fair. This is really our channel. I would say my channel, but it's ours. You guys are involved here. You guys watch me on a regular basis. You come here and you get some information and that sort of thing. We don't need to have, that kind of distraction around for those kinds of people. And YouTube really does provide great assistance with that, to report those people, to get rid of them, and to get them out of your system. Because who the hell do they think they are? Some people, there was one guy actually commented, does he think he's the YouTube police or something? Does he think he's, who is he to question anything? I mean, really, who are you, Are you the judge or what, So, yeah, no, it's crazy to think about it. So, yeah, no, they're very, very helpful. I like that name too. Yeah, thanks, Philip. No, I wouldn't. Took Superman and added Earth to it. Yeah, that's great. I like that. Look, maybe if I had a name like that, I'd be quite popular. But I'll just leave it at Rob's Logical Trading. I'm pretty boring at best. But yeah, I love it. Yeah, that's great. Love it to bits. Yeah, so we'll have one more giveaway on Thursday. We'll do that, and we'll have that sorted out. Okay, cool. Now, where were we before we were so rudely interrupted? No, I'm not short on the DAX yet, because I know, Shane, you trade on the 5-minute, right? So obviously, it's going to be pretty short for you, and it's probably going to be a good trade. But what I'm looking at on the 4-hour, and you guys can all see this, it's come back into this support, what is now support, and it's hit this a number of times. Now, I'm waiting for it to break through this support to give me a short, or to break to the upside, giving me a long trade with a nice green candle. So I'm waiting for it to go either way. So I'm in no man's land at the moment on the 4-hour. Pretty sure if I take this down to the 5-minute, it's going to give me a different picture. It went nice and short, gave you a long, big short run there. Even on the 5-minute, you've got to be a little bit cautious here on the short. I'm not talking about this support area. I'm just looking at this area here, and I would take a trend. I'd wait for it to break down to 233.50 before taking the short, even on the 5-minute. But yeah, no, I'm not short yet. I'm waiting for it to break the main support area. I know I did draw this trend line in, but okay, let me explain that trend line. I actually drew it in just as a confluence. I didn't actually draw this in as a trade line, because I just wanted to see if there was confluence here at this level. So I just put that in there, and it is breaking through that. I was looking for it to go long off that. It's broken through that to the short side. And as I said, if you get this breaking down out of this level, then you're going to get a good short out of the DAX. So that's what I'm looking for on that. Jepo, how's it, man? Good to see you again. Good to see you. Rob Lambo trading. Oh, no, I love that. Yeah. Imagine Rob Lambo trading. Yeah, no, Super Earthman, I'm sure you're a cool guy too, because I can see that. Do you stream every day, Rob? Looking for a friendly community to hang out with. Paul, we are a super friendly community. We hang out together. We love it. And this is mainly not to boast about trades and things like that. It's mainly to chat with each other and to help you guys with anything you need. So, but unfortunately, I can't do it every day. You know, I do, I do kind of have a life. So I do it on a Tuesday and a Thursday. So if you don't, you know, so it helps you guys. And I would like to open it up a bit more, but you know, at the end of the day, it does take away from my trading and other things and whatnot. So I'm trying to balance it as well, because I started doing the YouTube because I got bored on the trading, and that's great. And it's really now it's a challenge to make it big and better and all that, and it's great. But I also don't want it to overshadow the trading and investing business. So I got to keep that balance as well. So Tuesdays and Thursdays I do the live shows, also for myself, because I love having the company. I love meeting you guys and getting together with you and chatting and talking about things and whatnot. It's not just about trading. It's a little bit about, you know, trading is a lonely place. It always has been. And if you can have something going on around that, it really helps. It helps your psychology. It helps your mentality. So don't think that I'm only helping you guys. And you're also helping me a lot to keep my mentality kind of sane as well. Making new friends and that sort of stuff, having people out there. So yeah, that joke about coming around to my house one day, who knows, maybe it'll happen. Okay, so Lambo Rob, yeah. I'm looking at the curve using the fib. Paul 15 streams Tuesday morning and Thursday. Yeah, I'm just reading the comments here. CHF JPY long, I'll have a look. Have to go to a meeting at my kid's school. They're our future after all. As long as you're not getting called to the meeting because you're in trouble. The principal wants to see you, Kevin. Just to announce bad news. I lost phase 2 challenge due to my breaking my own set of rules. Shepard, that happens, man. But it's put it down to experience. Just put it down to experience. And then we move on, you know, and we see what happens next. Don't worry. There's always, you know, there's always something. Don't worry about it. Do we have any full-time traders here? Ruman, you and me, definitely, but I don't know anyone else. Oh, by the way, Paul, Thursdays I make later. I've been doing them at 1400 GMT plus 2, not 1100 GMT plus 2. I am going to try and bring it forward, maybe to 1300 GMT plus 2, and just see if it gets a little bit better. But I've been doing them a little bit later to try and include the American market a bit, or the different time zones in the world. So Tuesdays I do a bit earlier, Thursdays I do a bit later. Cheers, Kevin. All the best. And Shane's also a full-time trader. There you go. I'm sure there's quite a few guys actually out there that are full-time traders. I know I'm not the only one. A lot of people ask me, can you make money out of trading? And I think the answer's in itself. If you have the right investment and the right way of going about it, of course you can. And Sir Lunchalot's on his way to being a full-time trader, and Yeah, you guys that are full-time traders will also know that once you become full-time traders, then it becomes the buck stops here. You know, you have to make that money, and you have to. There's no salary coming in. There's no income coming in from somewhere else. So you have to make that money, and that psychology changes things as well. So do be careful of that if you're becoming a full-time trader and you're not one yet, because then it becomes more desperate to try and make the money. It becomes more challenging. Losses become more challenging. You know, if you know you've got the escape route from another income, then you kind of like, yeah, it's okay. You know, it's fine. But if you don't have that, if you don't have that backing or that background of money coming in, you start to take risks that are unnecessary. So just remember that although trading with real money takes your psychology to a certain level, trading full time takes that psychology a further notch up, a little bit higher. Something we haven't discussed, something we probably should discuss in some of the videos more frequently, is trading with real money is one thing, but trading with real money and having no other source of income is another thing entirely. And it takes the psychology way up to a different level. And there's Philip as well. Yeah, there you go. And Super Earthman's a full-time trying to be a trader as well. Yeah, that's everyone. Yes, it is. That's what I say, Shane. That's the toughest place to be, is a full-time trader with cash on your own and on your own, totally on your own, being alone. Is, you know, there's no one to bounce it off, no one to talk to, no one to deal with. That is probably the most difficult of all. It's, you know, a lot of people say, yeah, when you get into cash, it becomes difficult. But like I say, that's when it really toughens up. Desperation can become an issue, you know, when you're trying to get that money in and you need to pay the bills and that sort of thing. It can start affecting you. Yeah, I think I should probably, you know, I haven't done it, and I really should. I should actually perhaps put a video together that explains that, you know, because most people don't see that. And at the end of the day, it's also my own fault for not thinking about it, because between you and me, I've actually worked for myself since I was 27 years old. In that, I've had my trading always, and in between, I had a few businesses here and there that I enjoyed and put together and whatnot, because I was young and ambitious, and it was all about money, of course. And it's been an interesting ride, but I tend to forget that there are a lot of people out there that migrate from a normal income into this world. And this world is completely different. Whether it be trading or whether it be having your own shop or your own business or whatever the case, it's a completely different world. You know, I went through stages in my life where I actually despised the end of the month, where everybody else was looking forward to it. All my friends were like, oh, it's the end of the month, we're getting paid. And I was like, oh, it's the end of the month, I've got to pay. I mean, it just, the opposite starts to occur. You start to hate public holidays because you can't make money on those days. And I went through those stages in my psychology where it was difficult. And I really should make a video about that so that people know what they're getting into. With time, you get over it and you know, you move on, but I know what it's like. Um, uh, yeah, that's the thing. You know, the certainty of income is, you know, I only had it for a few years, as I say. I went and I I went into engineering and I got my studies through and all that, and I got my qualifications at the company and whatnot, and I worked there for a while. And then I always wanted to have my own stuff, my own thing going on and what have you. And so I went along that road and I resigned and I went out into the world. And the first thing I did was I was trading already. I'd already started trading. Everybody does that. There was no computers, but I'd already started trading. So I was ready for that. But that wasn't going to be my sole income. I went and opened a business at exactly the same time as well. A very successful one, to be honest. And yeah, but it was still, wow, that was a big change, From looking forward to the holidays, looking forward to getting the income at the end of the week, looking forward to weekends, all of that just goes out the window, just gone. You start suddenly working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Your mind's constantly operating. I tell you what, the end of the month becomes an absolute nightmare. And it takes many years to get over that. Many years. I can buy a sandwich if my long comes in, Lord. You see, Sir Lancelot, the difficulty of your question, how long does it take to be a full-time trader for you? My first few years, I was not a full-time trader because firstly, I was working, and then I left work and I started the business. And when I started the business, I was what if you could call it trading, because we didn't have the computer scenario. So it was kind of like I had my business and I had my trade. So I would pick up the phone, I'd get to the shop in the morning, pick up my phone and buy and sell on a one-to-one basis. So it was a bit like investing, but I was trading in and out of the shares. And then I would sometime during the day, if I had some time, go through the charts or go through the news. I'd buy the newspaper, go home, look at the shares, and then phone the broker again the next day. I didn't have this scenario that we've got now. So yeah, it was a different kind of picture. When computers came along, it was great because then I had the PC and the laptop and everything in the shop, and then I was trading there as well. So you could call it full-time, but semi-full-time. And then I got an offer for the shop that I couldn't refuse, and I won't say how much that was, and I had to take it, and then I became a full-time trader. So, you know, a successful trader, I would say a few years, maybe 3 years. I would say a full-time trader, it took me about 6 years to get there because I had the business and that sort of thing as well. So, and then I went off and I've traded full-time, and then I went off and then I started another business for no reason at all. Heaven alone knows why. And then I played with that, and then I sold that, and so many things have gone on in my life. But full-time trader, it's a difficult one to call because there was always something on the side, but this never went away. This was always addictive. This was always there. So I've been trading for the full 33 years, but sometimes full-time and sometimes I've had something else on my mind at the same time. So it's one of the reasons I ended up going to the higher time frames. There was a stage where I sold the business, went back in, went to the lower time frames, thought I was clever, and then went back to the higher time frames, because with the higher time frames, you don't have to be watching the charts all day. That makes a big difference. In Australia, get a driver's license takes about 5 years. I think trading is the same. Yeah, no, totally. Why does it take 5 years to get a driver's license? No, that was the first thing I went and did when I was a kid. I went and got my driver's license. I was out there. soon as I turned 18, boom, go and get the driver's license. I had the learners at 17 already, I was like, I'm in, because that was the legal age. I had to get it. I loved it. So many kids these days don't have driving licenses. Yes, we have the learners, 12 months, and then the red and green provisional. Yeah, Super Earthman says you started the mortgage company and then started learning trading. It's the hardest thing I ever attempted. It has always been the most difficult thing, because you see, the trouble is what we get sucked into, and this is what I believe. We get sucked into the belief that this chart is going to make us money. I mean, I was sucked into that belief for many years. And I never believed it when professional traders used to tell me at the time when I was younger, it's time in the market, not timing the market. I was like, you guys don't know what you're talking about, man. I can time the market. And it took me years to understand that the lines don't make you money, that you need to develop a business plan around your strategy to make you money. It dawned on me, and it dawned on me very late. Well, when I say very late, it was kind of like in the 2008 crash, where it kind of dawned on me, and I realized these lines can't tell you anything. All they can do is help you manage your trade. All they can do is help you with a probability, help you manage your risk. But you need a strategy. You need a proper business plan to actually make a proper profit with it. And I thought to myself, every single business that I ever started, I had a proper business plan. I had a proper idea of what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it, when I'm going to do it, how I'm going to make profit. Deposit the money every day from the takings, work out the turnover, the take profit, everything. I mean, I spent my world doing that. Now, I looked at it and I thought, why am I not doing that with trading? Why am I not doing this with trading? I need to do this with trading. So I relooked the whole scenario. And that's when I came up with the aha moment that, hang on, I've been trading all these years and basing my trading on systems that they're all the same. And that you need some kind of business plan, some kind of strategy to make this work properly. And while you can be profitable with systems, there are a lot of guys out there that are profitable with systems. I was one of them. I would run systems and I would make money. And I thought, well, the system's making me money until it's not. And then you look for another system. And I mean, I've traded every system. I even traded the Ichimoku system, which is nuts. It's a great system, by the way, but it's very delayed and lagging. And I've traded the fibs and I've traded all of them. And over the years, and I grew up thinking the systems make you money. It was a long time before I realized it's not the systems that make you money. The systems help you with your trades. Yeah, we need these systems to trade with. But the crux of the matter is you need to just have a business plan, a strategy, and manage it. And then it doesn't matter anymore. Eugene Jenny, I would wait for a retracement on that one. CAD JPY on the day chart. Shane 107.983. So when you say CAD JPY, do we have a JPY CAD? When we go short, you guys do realize that if you go short, it's cheaper, especially on a cash account. I don't know about these funded accounts, but on the cash accounts, they kind of pay you to go short. So you can only do CAD JPY. Okay. Damn, what was there before that? CAD JPY. You know what I will do with CAD JPY? Instead of drawing support and resistance here, because it looks quite quite bullish at the moment. So what I would do with CAD JPY is I'll do the trend line thing on CAD JPY. Put a line in here, 3 points, 3 strong points. Looks good to me. Is there a, yeah, there's a level here. That looks quite good. I'm not even going to the day chart. I'm just doing this on the 4 hour. You can draw another one in along here as well. Looks good. There's nothing wrong with trading in trend lines. I did this at the start of my trading. Nothing wrong. So there you can see buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. So pretty much a sell. You're pretty much in the right area for a sell. You need a good closed candle for that. Just wait for it to close before you do it. And let's just see, is there anything in a straight line here? I do have a concern. I'm not going to draw a big rectangular support in, but I am going to draw this in. I just want to see this. I do have a concern with this. See, that was a resistance. And it's broken through that resistance, gone to the upside, and it might come back to retest it and go back up. I do have a concern with this. Keep an eye out for that. But otherwise, if that candle closes, you might be in with a short on the 4 hour. Doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look too bad. Okay. Oh, Super Earthman, what do you mean they pay you to go short? When you take trades on your contracts account, now, this is a funded account, so that's completely different, all right? That doesn't work yet. But with a cash account and a cash broker, a leveraged broker, when you take a long trade on a share or index or Forex or whatever, you pay generally, with most brokers, a daily fee for holding the long trade overnight. When you go short, they kind of pay you because you're holding the short. So you get the opposite effect. So it's costs you less to have a short trade than to have a long trade with most cash brokers leveraging. Check that out, Super Earthman. Check it out with your broker. If it's a funded account, forget it. That's not going to happen. But if it's a cash account that you've got, then you will see that. You'll see they're either charging you much less, maybe half, or they're giving you money for holding the short. Depends on your broker. But if you go long, you pay to hold that long trade overnight. Hi, Luigi. Mario, yeah. Lame joke, Bruman. Paul just mentioned the word swaps. I think that might also explain it a bit. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, for those of you who understand swaps, yeah, there you go. So it's just how it works, right? So it's just cheaper to be on the short side of a trade. So if you've got a Forex pair that can work both ways, take the short side of it. It's going to cost you less money. It's just the way I think. Okay. Especially if you're thinking of holding it for a couple of days or whatever the case. It won't work, for example, with gold and US 500 and that. You can only trade it one way. So if you're going short, you're short, you're long, you're long. But some of the pairs work both ways, and then you can score a bit there. Yep, 225. Eugene. Let's have a look at that over here again. Yep, 225. Short. Let me just take these lines out of here. Why are they in the way? There's a nice double top across here. I'll tell you what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to have a quick look. Oh, that's interesting. We do actually have lines in place on the day chart. There's your top. There's a bottom area, which it's broken through and come back. Broke up. Okay, let's take it back to the 4 hour. 4 hour. Okay, there we go. But what I'm seeing on the 4 hour as well is that is a big resistance level. Okay. And then what I'm seeing here, what do we see? Oh, it's in a range. Eugene, that's quite a good short. That looks reasonable. Looks like you could get a short out of that. Doesn't look too bad at all. Yeah. I can't see anything wrong with a short on this. It looks like you might get a decent run. It has hit the top there, come down, shot back up, and it wants to go down again, and it looks like it wants to go. So you could probably get a reasonable short out of this. Let's have a look in the short term, in the very short term, what that looks like. And yeah, there you go. Broken to the downside. That looks pretty decent to go short. Nothing wrong with that, eh? So it looks like a reasonable call, Eugene. Looks like a reasonable call. FX Trader, I believe most brokers do use them. I haven't come across one that doesn't, but you know, I don't work in the US and stuff like that, so I don't know what's going on there. All for Aussie dollar, US dollar sitting at resistance area. Thoughts on a sell? Okay. So I think, Paul, Aussie dollar, US dollar we'll have a look at. I think on this JAP 225, as Shane said, maybe we should take the trade here. Let's have a look. We can take this trade, but the stop loss is going to have to be at 38,800. Let me see what we get here. Let me see if we can put something in here. On a sell, let me see if it can work, first of all. I'll just, I'll make it 39,000. I just want to see if it can work. That's all. 37,286. Yeah, it can work. It can work. It can actually work. So we're probably going to need 4 lots. Maybe 5. 5 lots is good. Loss of 223, profit of 370. Yeah, okay, so we'll take this trade and we'll put it on our account. There we go. Okay. So now we have hopefully a sell on JAP 225. Okay, so we've sold it. No, I don't want a trailing stop. Why do you do this to me? It's okay. Leave the trailing stop. It's fine. Or can we change it? I'll take it out. Oh man, you dumbass. Don't want it. There. I'm leaving the stop standard for now. I'll put a trailing stop later. Okay, that's fine. Then the other one is Aussie dollar, US dollar. Let's have a look at Aussie dollar, US dollar. Aussie dollar, US dollar, I had, it broke through. We don't really, let me just change that. Just having a look at this Aussie dollar, US dollar here. And yeah, we can actually put that. Yeah. That is definitely on a strong resistance. 65,390. Definitely it's gone back up to retest. It broke out of here, gone back up. It's retesting this level with a view to falling down. So if you're interested in this trade, then it might be worthwhile looking at possible short trade here. Yeah, but just wait for that candle to close. Okay, just wait for that candle to close and go for it. Cool. The Aussie dollar, US dollar. Yeah, you're right. Short, just wait for the candle to close up and give you the full-on direction as to where we're going. Right, so this is Eugene's trade, JAP 225. Eugene, hope it works out. Okay. Between all of you guys, we've managed to keep this account open. It hasn't won anything, but it's managed to keep it open. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's good. Okay. Platinum looks like a good short. I don't trade platinum because it's just a bit slow, and I don't think these funded accounts actually have it as well. Waiting for the trend line break on the 4 hour, then I would buy. US dollar too tight. Take that high next lower swing point. Trailing stop is good. Aussie dollar, US dollar too tight. Platinum is putting in a lower high on the 4 hour. Cool. Okay, so Aussie dollar, US dollar is a wait. And as Shane said, the JAP 225 is heading on to the downside and definitely didn't take out the high. So it's definitely looking like it wants to fall over. Let's see if it falls over decently. And I've just got to keep an eye on this level at 38,000. If we have to take profit there, we will. It's fine. Not a problem. Okay. Double top on the Monday high. Aussie dollar, US dollar. There's kind of a level here. You just need, these are undecided candles, guys. You see there's a little body and a long tail on either side. Those are what's known as an undecided candles. That means everyone who's trading in here is undecided. They're not sure which way this is going. That means everyone. I'd call it short because of this retest. And these look like they want to go down, and I think they probably will. But we have to see what's going to go down. See what's going to happen. Because you had this long run down, and then this recovery, retest, start coming down again. JAP 225, on the other hand, has got a clear double top with a view to it. It actually didn't reach that. It's turned around, started to go down, starting to clean up this level here. There is a level of money lying here at 38,000, which is of concern. It has to break through that. Hopefully it comes all the way down to here, which is a level that it's sitting in. But it is in a range at the moment. It's sitting in this range between there and there. Clearly sitting in that range at the moment. So if it's sitting in that range, there's a good chance it's going to come down, take out that bottom, which is fine. That's just fine. Okay. Rob's World. I like that, actually. Rob's World. Not a bad name. Oh, no. Double top on the Monday high. Okay. Rob's World's a great name. Look, I don't want to change the name of this channel right now because you guys, it's now known, so I'm leaving it. But if I ever do something like have another channel or something, then I'll call it Rob's World. We can talk about something different. But yeah, that sounds good. Sounds brilliant. I quite like messing around with YouTube. That's probably because I like computers. There was a stage in my career where I owned 2 computer stores. And yeah, one on that side of town, one on that side of town. I don't know why I did that, but I just like computers. So when we had no computers, when we were trading as youngsters, just to dream of having a computer or something. I mean, it was like, wow, imagine if we could just click a button and get a trade, without having to pick up that phone. We had the dial phone. Some of the younger guys won't even know how to work that. And just to phone the broker, hey, buy this for me. Yeah, cool, no problem. Get that price, that price. It's insane. And somebody asked me, like, why don't you keep the investments direct on the exchange rather than going through the brokerages and that? And I had investments directly on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. And the problem is, if you want to sell it, or buy it, you instruct them to sell it. It takes them a day to sell it. And then they sell it at whatever price they can get. No, you can't play with that. So they only deal with the big guys, the really, the big money. That's what they're interested in. So what they do is they go and buy everything up, and then you trade through them, and that's the only way you can do it. Rob, when can you have a Zoom session? I would be happy to pay for. I'm not gonna charge you guys for a Zoom session. I'll try and set something up so we can all have a Zoom session. Triple, I'll talk to you about the German 40 now. The last time I traded palladium, I lost. So I don't like palladium. But no, I'm just joking. Look, the reason I don't play with platinum and palladium much is because the liquidity is just not as good. The liquidity, palladium particularly, there's just no liquidity. Like, for example, if you're trading gold, it's moving, there's liquidity, there's lots of money there. With palladium and platinum, there's just not much there. So I just leave it alone. I'd trade it if it's there. I've traded palladium, like I say. I wasn't impressed. I did lose last time. I probably trade platinum and palladium once a year if it looks good on the cash account, but only on the cash account, not on these funded accounts. I don't think they even have it. But yeah, like I say, I remember the last time I traded palladium and it lost, and I was peeved, and I was like, nah. But yeah, I'll trade it if it looks like a good trade. But I do have it on my cash accounts. It is there. Palladium, platinum. I just don't bother with it because, you see, the thing is, commodities are cyclical. I mean, they go up and down. But you need liquidity to even on the slow 4-hour trading, you need liquidity. And this palladium just doesn't have that decent liquidity. You can get in and out your trades. It's not a problem, but they don't move. There's not much happening there. It's very slow, extremely slow. Then Germany 40. Triple, this is the same thing. Germany 30, Germany 40, DAX. Okay. Like I said earlier, I was waiting for it to go long. I was waiting for a green candle off the top here, giving us a long trade to the upside. But now I'm waiting for the red candles to drop down, break through this support level, give us a short trade to the downside. So there's two ways to look at the DAX at the moment. It's going to go either way, but you need confirmation either way. So I need either a green candle close to the upside above that level, or a red candle close to the downside below that level, probably below these lows here. And then I'll be happy to take a short on the Germany 30. Yeah, I think platinum, Sir Lancelot, is kind of like you either get a bad trade or a good trade. I didn't lose platinum. I lost palladium. It's palladium that I lost it. Tory Trade's favorite instrument, bought on the 20th of May. Yeah, it's slow, isn't it? It's a long-term trade. But yeah, if you like it, that's great. Like I say, I don't look at it much. I don't look at platinum much. And like I say, palladium I lost at. Platinum, I can't even remember what my last trade did for me. It was a long time ago. Okay, I'm thinking short on DAX using fib extension. I'm also looking for a short on the DAX. So, like I said, the DAX here, guys, it's in your favor for a short at the moment because it's bearish and it is heading to the downside. And if you wanted to put some trend lines in, you can clearly see that. And of course, it's breaking through this trend, the support, this trending support here, which is giving you an indication that it's going down as well. My concern is it's created this heap over the top, this fall over, but it is above the support. And this support has held 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times it's held. It's holding. So this support's holding strong. So the reason I haven't taken a short on the DAX yet, you could on a short term, a really short term, because it might get down to here, is because it's held so well. So what I'm waiting for is preferably for it just to break below this low here. So I wish I could now I just want to push that up a little bit. That low there. So if it breaks through that, then I'll be happy. I'll say it's got a nice red candle going to the downside, and we'll take that short to the downside. That would be great. But as it stands at the moment, I'm not going to get myself involved in either way, because like I said earlier, a nice green candle gives you the long, nice red candle gives you the short. I'm hanging back a little bit on the DAX as well as the S&P for the simple reason that this guy is in the dust with all the other ones, US 500 and all that sort of stuff. It's in the dust. And I want the dust just to settle and to clear. And then we'll get a better idea of what's next and what we're doing. My technicals say short the DAX, but do the opposite to Shane. Oh, gosh. No, I get the DAX. I do get the DAX. I'm just looking at it both ways. You know, there's two things to look at here, Shane. And I know your fibs is going to tell us to sell it, and that's great. But there's two things I'm looking at here. One is that red candle is not closed. It's still open. And if that's still open and it goes the other way, then it's above that level. Look at the spike or the tail on the candle before it. So that is holding me back. The next thing that's holding me back is it hasn't cleared that low. It hasn't gone down. So I'm just, and of course, the main thing that's holding me back is the dust that's blowing around in the world at the moment. There's a lot of things going on. I'm just waiting to see what settles and which way it settles. So don't get FOMO, Shane. But if you are trading on a 5-minute, go for it because it's 5-minute. You know, then you're trading on 5-minute candles. You're in, you're out. That's cool. If you're trading on the 4-hour, hang back a little bit. I mean, if you take this down to a 1-hour, you see, then you've got a long bearish run. That long bearish run is bringing you down into the support. And it should resolve to the downside. But we're assuming. And the nice thing about the 1-hour, though, is that candle does seem to have closed. And there's a new candle running next to it. On the 1-hour, there's some possibilities there. And there's a tiny bit of a head and shoulders developing there. So that is a possibility. Let's look at the 30 minutes. 30 minutes is also, it's kind of like red candle, a couple of small candles, probably resolve to the downside. If you start going down the time frames, it is giving you a kind of indication that it wants to go short. Geopolitics sees a buy on the H1. I don't see a buy on the H1. I actually see more of a sell based on, I'm seeing a small head and shoulders here, but then I see them everywhere. They're like patterns in my head. But I also see big red candle coming down to the downside. The next candle might also be red, and it'll push it down. So the red candle is kind of pushing it, but it is inside this level. So it's much of a muchness. It does need to break that level. But I'm not seeing the buy until I see the green candle. And I'm not seeing a green candle anywhere. You go to the day, it's red. You go to the H4, it's red. You go to the hour, it's red. Go to the 30 minutes, it's still red. Tiny candles, undecided. 15 minutes, where lots of you guys trade. Red, red, bit of a green, red, and they're very small, undecided. That's an undecided candle. They don't know which way to go. So even if I take it all the way down the diaphragms, from the top to the bottom, it's showing me that it's red. So that tells me don't go long, okay? So just watch out for that. Try and take in the information. You know, you go up the level, it tells you, I'm red. Go down, it's red. Go down, it's more red. Go down, it's even more red. Keeps on being red. So I'm waiting for the US Open. Yeah, that might be a good idea to wait for the US Open. If a candle breaks the fib level, then there's a high probability that this will go to the next level. You are right. You are right. And that's why I said, I know the fib is probably going to tell us that it's going to go short. And I'm happy with that. But I'm just looking at the overall picture. I'm looking at the dust in the background. I'm just, yeah, it's probably going to go short. Would like to give it just a touch more confirmation. But, you know, if I go down to the hour and that, it does pretty much look like it's going in that direction. But like I said, markets are 50-50. You might get a surprise. Reversal. I'm going to look at Shane's email quickly. That email. Dun, 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 dun. X. Dun, 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 dun. Shane, you sent me gold. Yeah, there we go. Just by the way, you sent me gold. You sent me gold. Someone's getting old. I watch most of your videos on stop loss, and I think the one thing that I miss is how conservative aggressive you should get when you move the stop loss into profit, or what a good trailing stop loss is. Might be a good video subject. Short on SPY. Wow. Brave man, Shane. Brave man, but good on you. That's the same as short on DAX. You know what? I will. Yeah. I have made videos on that, on the stop loss subject and the trailing stop. And I will go into it in more detail again. I think that's, people need to know that. And what I do find when I make the videos is sometimes people do mention that sometimes I'm kind of repeating myself, but I find it a necessity. And I do like to make a better video than I did last time to try and give you as much information as I possibly can. So while I do think I may have done it before, I'm going to do it again. And it'll give you insight as to why we follow our winners and move the trailing stop up and that sort of thing. It's part of the strategy. It's not so much in the system as in the strategy. The strategy is to follow your trades up what did we buy earlier? The JAP 225. So, for example, in this one, I've taken the trailing stop out at the moment because the trade is new, and I don't want it to go rushing back and take me out, because that's what it does quite often and quite frequently when the world is a little bit geopolitical. But if this goes into profit, say down to here, then I would like to take my stop loss, move it down into cost, which means my trade is now free. It's not costing me $220, right? Then it's free, it's zero. Then put a trailing stop on it and let it, if it carries on moving down to here, then I'm going to make a profit. If it goes back, takes out my trailing stop, I'm going to make nothing, but I've lost nothing. I'll make a video which is far more detailed and give you all that information. You're quite right. It's pretty cool. The other thing that I used to show people is something that I do on my accounts, particularly on the cash side and the bigger trades, is what I will do is, if it goes to this level and it starts going into profit, I would actually sometimes add to the trade or make the trade bigger in size because it's going in bigger into profit. But that's something that you really have to concentrate on, and you can't do it every time. You can only do it on a good trade. When you can see that this thing is running, man, this is a beaut, then you nail it and add to it and take it on like that. Looks like this trade's losing. No, it's winning. Oh, goodness. Okay. Okay, great. It's actually okay. All right. Great. So, I think I'm going to start heading on my way, guys. It's quite late already. Yeah, I think most of you guys don't mind the repetitions. I'm pretty sure most of you don't mind. There's just one or two cynical people that always like, oh, you're saying the same thing again. But that's what trading is about. I always try and tell people, friends that are close to me, trading is not going to be different next week as it was last week or the week before. It's always going to be the same. That's what makes trading so damn boring. It's like always going to be the same. I'm not going to somehow find some phenomenal different picture for you next week that's going to look completely different to it this week. It's always going to be pretty much the same. I'm going to find more things to tell you about because I've got 33 years of experience that I can give you. So I will find things that I can talk about and tell you about. But in all likelihood, most of the stuff is pretty much going to look the same. I can't change it. I mean, stop loss is stop loss. The strategy is the strategy. The business is going to remain the same. But the thing about anything like trading, education, anything like that, the more it drums in, the better. The more you see it over and over again, I might say something next time that I didn't say last time that will help you, that'll give you an aha moment. Because everything about this education is getting those aha moments, getting that moment like, oh, look at that. I didn't see that before. That just opens up my mind to something new. I love learning something new. I love finding something out. So that's why I keep on repeating it and keep on doing it over and over again. Now, the strategy, I keep on beating that in on every single video at the end if I can, so that the guys can get that. That's important. And there, I don't mind. If the guys get really sick and tired of it, just keep on watching that, because that's the most important. But everything else, I try and give you what I can, give you the information I can. And then, of course, the videos themselves, I do try to improve them as much as I can on a regular basis and make them better and better for you guys so that they're more interesting to watch, because I know it can be horrific watching a boring video. So I try to make it interesting for you guys. But yeah, that's what it's about. Okay. Physiologist. No, you got that wrong. I think it's psychologist you're looking for. P-S-Y. I'm not going to try and spell it. That's physiologist. I think physiologist is more like a sporty thing. Great. No, it's a pleasure, guys. I'm glad it helps. Helps out a lot. Time to go sailing, Rob. Let me check the email from Shane quickly before I go. Yeah. Oh, sideways. Okay, there it is. And we've got something going on here. Yeah, in all likelihood, it's going to be a good trade, Shane, in all likelihood. And yeah, grab it. Grab it. I mean, if you want to get in early, grab it. It's not the worst trade. I'm just being cautious on it, right? And there it starts to go green as we talk, so it's a little bit tricky. Okay, so I'm glad to see Elaine was here today. We've actually got a couple of nice ladies on board as well, so it's not all just boys here. And we're a ladies and gentlemen, we're a crowd, which is great. It's absolutely lovely. Okay, so guys, I hope you guys have a great time. Paul, do you know what I might do with the Thursdays? I might actually try and make them a little bit earlier so most people can get on board as well. I see the Tuesdays are a little bit more popular than the Thursdays anyway. Let's see how I go about that. Keep your eyes peeled for the times and what have you. Thanks for being with me. Thanks for watching. And as I always say, keep your feet on the ground, reach for the sky. And I'll chat to you soon. I'll see most of you on Thursday, hopefully, for the next live show. Come back and watch the videos. And otherwise, I'll see you on Tuesday again. I'll try and make a video for that question about how we go through all the, putting all the lines on all the charts and working out the trades for the week and that sort of thing. But we'll see how we go. And then we'll take it from there. Thanks so much for being here, guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful trading week. Make lots of money. Put it all in the bank, stash it away, enjoy it. Chat to you guys.